3, 2, 1, go.
What's going on, Greg?
Good evening,
Tim.
Good evening, guys. What's up?
How are
Greg
we?
here, Chad, Tim, Life on Deck. It's a beautiful Sunday evening in the middle of Memorial Day weekend.
Yes, sir.
Just hanging out.
Tim, you taking the
Hope
dog
you
for a
are
walk?
safe.
Yeah, man. I'm
Well,
outside letting the dog out for work. We're in quarantine. This is the way we live, right?
hell yeah.
Who's winning the golf match, Greg?
Right now it's one down.
Who's
I
down,
think they're going
Tiger
to 18,
or Phil?
maybe.
Why don't they start these things earlier? Have you ever noticed that the last two
Tiger
challenge
was
matches
winning. I'm
had to be
sorry.
finish in the dark?
Well, I think they had a late kickoff because of the weather they were having down there.
Well, they had
once their weather broke.
they had a rain delay. It's been pouring the whole time there. What's
Yeah.
up, Evan?
Yeah, I've been watching that. It's been monsooning down there.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, these guys, you think they're betting on the side? They got to be.
Absolutely. Last year, Phil Mickelson won the $10 million, but then Tiger won 1.5 on the side and Phil won 2 on the side. So there's some serious money being chucked around on that golf course today.
Yo, it's got to be. And I don't know how they're doing it. I mean, they're all mic'd up. So, yeah.
They're not micing everything, though.
No. Phil and them are down. Phil just hit one in the fairway on 18. They're down by 1. I don't know if we're live. Are we live on Facebook?
We are absolutely live, fellas. We've been live for 2 minutes.
We're live on Facebook.
Hey, Phil's dropping bombs.
Oh, yeah. Here comes
Phil's
TB12 in the house.
How about Charles Barkley talking smack to him and he just drops one right in the hole?
Oh, you're talking about 100 sub cards out there?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been golfing since I was 13 years old. I never hit a shot like that.
I do on Tiger Woods on PlayStation or something, but that's
Tiger
about
Woods,
it.
PGA Tour 2012. I mean, tonight. What's that?
He was really good on that golf game until he got in trouble. And then they took it and gave it to Rory McIlroy.
And it's going downhill ever since. They need to bring Tiger back. Yeah. So tonight, guys, on the agenda, we got The Last Dance, of course, concluded last week. The biggest documentary as far as ratings go in ESPN history. We all knew that was going to happen. We might have one guest on tonight. I don't know if you have seen this, Chad, but have you seen Coach Doug's?
I have been following a little bit of Coach Doug's on Twitter. Tim got me hooked up into Coach Doug. That's pretty good stuff. McVicker, what's up, man?
What's up, Evan? The card extraordinaire's here.
Yep.
Big E in the house, as requested by Life on Deck Nation. Welcome, Big E, to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
How are you, Evan? How's the quarantine life?
I'm bored.
Aren't we all? That's why we're on here every Sunday night.
It's all good. It's all good. So, Greg, hey, keep rolling with what do we got going on here?
Well, tonight I thought we talk, of course, The Last Dance, the golf tournament, which we've been talking about, is going on right now. They're going up 18. I have it muted, but Tiger's in his $62,000 golf cart, traveling on the sand. If only we could have the money that these guys are throwing around today.
Way to make good, clean contact.
Yeah, they're throwing some serious jack on the side around. How about Brooks Koepka just calls in and says, "Hey, if you get it within 12 feet, I'm going to throw $100,000 in."
100 grand for par right here, Tom. Like, come on. These guys are on a whole nother level.
Russell Wilson, if you get within, 10 feet or 8 feet, I'm going to give 100,000 meals per ball inside of 8 feet. And 3 balls awesome. Went in. He gave 300,000 meals in Seattle.
Tom Brady's hole in one was pretty cool.
Yes, that was awesome. Here we go. We're on. We got 5 viewers. We are popular tonight.
So hey, let's each of us just try. Let's each of us give our. We've been talking about the Last Dance here for weeks. Let's each of us give our I guess kind of our recap or big takeaway from the Last Dance. Chad, you want to roll, man?
Yeah. I was actually, as we talked, we grew up watching Jordan. I was more impressed to see how he is as a human, behind the scenes, how competitive he really was. I mean, you hear about it, but then to actually see it and watch it, I've watched it multiple times on replay now. It's pretty impressive to see how he pushed his teammates. It was a totally different generation of what we're kind of dealing with now. But it was fun to watch that part of it. It was also neat to see Phil's side and Scotty's side, especially as they went down the stretch. I forgot that Scotty's back was really that bad in Game 6 in '98. I completely forgot that his back was that bad.
Yeah. I think the great clip was Scotty running down the basketball court there in Game 6 against the Jazz, as if, Chad, maybe not you, but definitely if it was me trying to play basketball right now, what it would look like for sure.
He was holding his back, running down the floor.
Yes. Look like our father's trying to pull it out.
Exactly.
The boys club on Saturday mornings.
With the rec specs.
I forgot. Yes, our father. I forgot that Scotty got hurt too. The only thing really, I knew the Game 6 I thought it was actually Game 7, but I thought that Game 6 was actually Game 7. I don't know. I just remember the shot.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to deal with.
Oh my!
Greg, what's your big takeaway?
I mean, it showed that these guys weren't the actually team unit that everyone thought they were. It was my biggest take. I know Pippen and Horace Grant and them guys are pissed off at Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan's the one that threw all the money at it.
Did you agree with Horace that it was a Michael Jordan documentary and not a documentary about the Bulls?
Yes, by far.
Do you?
Evan, what do you think?
I think it was pretty much all about Jordan.
Yeah. Who's your favorite basketball team?
I'm a Wizards fan.
You're a Wizards fan? Ticket
Evan,
sales are going up.
Do you think Michael's years and what we've watched the last 5 weeks, do you think his years were tarnished? Do you think his legacy was tarnished with his couple of years with the Wizards? Do you think it was necessary?
No, he's still balled out at 40 years old.
But they didn't win.
That's the only time he struggled to go to the playoffs. Those 2.5 years. I think the one year he had to have knee surgery 60 games in or something like that.
Yeah.
Still scored 25 points a game.
You're right about that.
The thing that amazed me the most, though, when we talk about that, Tim, is think about how competitive you have to be and how big is your ego to say, all right, at 40, I'm going to go back into the NBA and play. With these 19-year-old dudes. I think Kwame Brown started for him. He was fresh out of high school. When Kwame,
what a
18
bust.
on that team.
Kwame Brown, number 1 pick.
That was Jordan's number 1 pick.
There's a great pick. There's a great pick out there. I think it's from the 04-05 All-Star game, I think it is. It's him and Juan Dixon. Michael and Juan Dixon in their Wizards jerseys, sitting at the baseline, watching the slam dunk contest or the 3-point shootout or something like that night. And it's you got Juan Dixon, who's a baby deer compared to Michael at that point in their lives and careers and all. And honestly, it's one of those things I kind of forgot about, that Juan would have had a chance to play with him there in the mid 2000s when the Wizards picked him up when they drafted him.
Coming from his left-hand side, all about.
So here's somebody crazy. Did you know Juan Dixon and Christian Laettner both played with him on the Wizards?
You're right. Yes, right. Did you say that? I remember that now. Yes.
Christian Laettner started in his final game ever up in Philly.
Evan, do you even know who Christian Laettner is?
He did. He played with Duke.
He was a piece of shit, Evan.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, geez.
Well, everybody on Duke is.
That's right. When are they going to get in trouble? When is all this stuff going about them going to come out?
Never.
Carlos Boozer's mom, etc. All that.
Oh, she got hit with something at Maryland that year at Cole Fieldhouse.
Lance Thomas's mom got the job with Sprint, ironically, in the middle of Durham.
Was it Shane Battier that lived in
job.
Alaska and they got a new house or whatever it was?
That was Trajan
relocated.
Trajan Langdon.
Trajan Langdon.
The Alaskan assassin.
Yeah. Screw them.
E, do you have any like Trajan Langdon rookie cards somewhere in the archive, somewhere in the box of yours?
Who?
Trajan Langdon. You even know who that was?
No.
Your pap would know. Your dad would know. Your brother may know.
Trajan Langdon.
Trajan Langdon.
I think he's second all-time ever in foul shooting. Behind this is a pretty good trivia question. Who do you think he's behind in all-time foul shooting for high school career or for college career?
It's not Juan Dixon, even though Juan was like a 93% shooter.
And it's not any of those Duke guards like Bob Hurley or any of those guys, is it?
No, it's not.
I don't know.
Is it a guy from Shenandoah University?
No, definitely not me.
Kevin Brashears, baby.
It's Tony Bennett from Virginia.
Oh wow. Shit! Where did his dad coach at? Wisconsin, right?
I think it was like Wisconsin. Yeah, it was Wisconsin. He was all around up there. Wisconsin, Green Bay for a little bit, but yeah, Tony Bennett's the all-time, I think, free throw percentage shooter for his career.
Okay,
that's crazy.
Yes.
Evan, what's your big takeaway? You got quite a lot going on there in the office. I know Chad's got a cool setup going there. He's got the South High jersey in the background. Greg's outside. I'm outside. Tell us about the space you got going on there, man.
Let's see. You got the Redskins stuff.
Arakpo. Do you think?
No,
Evan? Do you think Chase?
That's
you think
Garcon.
Chase Young? Oh, isn't Arakpo 98?
That's 88.
Oh,
we were talking about Garcon last week.
That right there's that's Terrence Knight.
Okay.
Is
that your room, or does dad let you make an office?
That's my room.
Okay.
How many cards you got in your room, Evan?
I got like 3, 4, 5 boxes piled up everywhere.
wow. What's the most expensive card you've ever had? Like ever owned? What's the best sale you've ever had?
Probably
When you need a vehicle you can count on, trust Toyota to be here.
well, no, it wasn't a card. It was a Brady signed helmet.
What'd you sell the TB12 helmet for? Hey, the IRS is not listening. You can talk about anything over $600.
$1,000.
Safe space here, buddy.
Nice.
I think we're losing him. Anyway, guys, my biggest takeaway: life on deck. Oh my gosh. The last dance is the price and cost of leadership. I know everybody was kind of focused on that moment at the end of episode 9 where Jordan breaks down, and it might have been episode 8 where he breaks
7.
down. He's like, look, this.
I still think the best part is when he's laughing at Gary Payton.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one, especially because you can tell that's a genuine laugh. Like, that's the stuff you don't get to see on his movies, his other documentaries. That is true, though. He's busted out laughing. Tim, we back? We're up and running?
Yeah, man. Yeah. When that happens, you guys are still good. It's just my screen to dump, so you guys are good.
Gotcha.
I disappeared for a minute there.
So,
we're not
Tim,
professionals.
you were talking about episode 7. Mike breaks down at the end about leadership and price of winning, and everybody thought he was a tyrant. I agree with you. I totally agree. That's the part that I'm stuck on the most. Matter of fact, I've downloaded that clip off Twitter. It's like 2 minutes and 18 seconds, and I've caught it a couple times. I've actually sent it to some of my players. I told them, this is why I push you. to limits that you can't figure out yet, because I come from a generation where this is normal.
Yeah. The price of leadership is sometimes that feeling where you wish, everybody's not in love with what you have to say. I mean, there definitely is. It's all about results. It's all about the results piece. And to me, that's the biggest takeaway of the Jordan aura, of the way he decided to go about his business, of the things that he pursued. It was all about that. So that's it. That's the biggest takeaway for me.
Going through tough times.
I think it was Connie Chung, if I'm not mistaken, but I think she was interviewing him in one of the earlier episodes, and she said, "Do you think you have a gambling problem?" He said, "No, I have a competition problem."
Ha,
I thought that was pretty good,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
because he even said in that episode, "I will bet on myself."
Big E, you're muted. And you had some background noise going on there. You all good?
I think he's watching the golf game.
Oh, okay.
Somebody's watching the golf game.
Tiger won.
Tiger always
and
wins.
Peyton.
Might be the first time that Peyton actually beat Brady on a weather conditioned day.
Yeah.
Jordan was like, it's not like I didn't have it to begin with.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean, I thought it was a good depiction of the whole 90s basketball and how competitive not just the Bulls were, but everyone was. I mean, the battles with the Knicks and the Lakers and the Trailblazers, everything. That's what I thought was the coolest part about it.
I guess
Did you guys?
Sorry,
Go ahead, Tim.
Chad.
No, you good. Go ahead.
I had forgotten how good that Jazz team was there. That 97, 98 Jazz team. That I know there was a lot being said about Karl Malone was in the Bulls bus after Game 6, congratulating those guys. And I think there was something that hit social media this past week where they were asking him about, does he regret never beating the Bulls? And he kind of does the, he's a big tough guy kind of thing. And man, they were loaded too. Wow.
Rest in peace, Jerry Sloan.
Yes.
Yes,
RIP.
yes, he just passed away
Sloan.
yesterday. Eddie Sutton passed away as well.
Last night. Yep.
Yeah.
That's two pretty good coaches.
Well, Sutton's Hall of Fame college career was like 3 or 4 schools, 40 some years.
Took them all to the tournament, first ever.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes. How about, did you talking about, Tim, are you talking about the little ESPN clip that was on Twitter where Karl Malone's smoking the cigar in like his living room?
Yes.
And they're like, when I say the name Michael Jordan, what do you think? And he's like, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And like he wouldn't give him the love, but he did say, "I'm all man," and we should have beat him 1 out of the 2 times that we played him. And he goes, "We played the Chicago Bulls, not Michael Jordan. There was a lot more to the team than just him." So I thought that was pretty.
It was pretty straight up answer.
Yeah,
pretty smooth.
He didn't want to talk about getting the ball knocked out of his hands, though. He refused to answer that question.
Yes.
Well, hear about this? Another side note on all that. Karl Malone was in WCW for a couple years too, just like Dennis was. That's pretty cool. Those guys are stars,
Did Malone ride right in on his Harley?
Yes.
So
you
what
got
if I
any
made?
you got any WCW old school wrestling cards in your collection?
I probably do somewhere.
All I can remember about growing up with Greg Small in the early 90s was just stacks and packs of WCW trading cards laying around.
We used to go to those Saturday shows too. Our dad was in the trade. Tim, you still have a bunch of trading cards, I believe.
I told Evan, I said he's got first rights to cleaning out my collection in the basement someday. Probably some good nuggets in there.
Yeah. I mean, the 90s, I mean, we were both Hulkamaniacs. I love WCW. I love Ric Flair. I love Lex Luger. I love the original Sting. That's when wrestling was. That was.
I think
when
you went
wrestling
even
was
far one year for Halloween to do the whole Sting face paint, didn't you?
Oh, Stingers for life. He had that jacket with the thing, like the Macho Man stuff.
Yes.
It was always bright and that bright blonde hair. It was
Yes.
awesome.
Did he
When
have
are you going to go
Not
back
a
to
lot of
that?
people appreciate that. But I mean, when he first went black and white, that was legit too. That was a good character.
Do you have the bat yet?
Yes. He had the lights went out and all. That was good. But it got old after time, just like everything does in that business, it seems like. I mean, the days of WCW Nitro versus Raw and the NWO versus DX, that was the best of the best because it still had a little bit of the old with a little bit of the new, in my opinion.
Well, in a plug for, I think it's on Netflix, The Toys That Made Us. If you guys have seen that one where they talk about the wrestling toys and they talk about how WWF versus WCW and how it all came into WWE, a lot of that is great discussion about how that whole process happened and the different pieces and different steps. So it's just as much about the wrestling business as it is about toys, which
Hasbro.
Yeah.
And we had wrestling buddies. We had those wrestling figures. We had the rings. We had it all.
Well,
Here's an
Chad,
interesting fact. Here's one that's pretty wild. WCW. So there's a guy that went to North. He was my catcher in Little League Baseball. His name was Sean Ricker. He's now Eli Drake, and he wrestles for WCW. Hagerstown, born and bred.
Wrestles where?
WCW.
there was a guy that I graduated with from Williamsport in the late
WWE.
90s who there was a couple of those other lower circuits that he kind of worked his way into, but never made it really that far. But
Yeah, he was on the show. Remember Rock did that television show where he would challenge all the contestants to do different stuff
yes,
down in like Mexico. So Sean was on that, and from that, Sean was able to get bumped up through the Rock's help to get, into the business a little bit more hardcore. But
nice.
he comes home and sees his mom and dad every like holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. And a One Life gym, there he goes walking in, lifting weights. So I get to catch up with him a couple times a year, but it's pretty cool to follow him on social media and see the crazy life that he's living.
No, that's cool. I have to check that out.
All right, so moving on here, we talked about, of course, the golf tournament today. What did you think about those four guys, going on national in the pouring down rain for, for everybody right now? The amount of money that they've raised. What's that, E?
I think Peyton Manning kicked butt.
Oh, he's awesome.
Brady.
Yeah, he had a bunch of good shots.
Brady sucked.
Mickelson looks in the best shape of his life. Tiger looks pretty darn good. Peyton looks like, he just like he's at the Pro Bowl and it's circa 2006. I mean, those guys are pro athletes. They are what they are.
Well, you got him. I mean, Peyton still, he doesn't look like it on TV, but he's still 6'3", 6'4", 225 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can't hit the ball 300 yards, but they can. He's got a terrible swing now. He looks like you hitting the golf club, Tim.
Well, that's because they can afford those really nice golf clubs, not the ones they sell at Dick's Sporting Goods that give you this trajectory to get to 300 yards.
Custom made.
I thought it got off to a little bit of a slow start. I wasn't home, so I was trying to find the match on my phone and watch it streaming live, and I was happy to know that it got pushed back a little bit. I know we were talking back and forth a little bit, and it took a couple holes to pick up, but I thought the quality of golf today was decent. I mean, I thought it was good. I thought that once the competitive stuff started to kick in a little bit, Tiger relaxed. Of course, Phil's always talking. Peyton's always talking. Brady hits a shot or two. I'd watch that once a month on a Sunday afternoon if they would put it on.
Absolutely. So here's a question. Do you think Phil talks like that with no mic in the middle of a major championship?
No.
You don't think so?
I mean, did you see how he shut up when big putts and all? Those guys they know when to turn it on and turn it off.
No,
you don't think that kind of you don't think there's not some candor going on like at the tee box, especially if those guys, I mean, how many times have Tiger and Phil, I don't know how many times they played in the same foursome, but they've been playing against each other for 20 years. I I mean,
Do you think they really like each other or don't like each other?
I think they're probably best friends that drop it when they get competitive, because they started playing like, what do you call it? Like practice rounds and stuff at tournaments on like the 4-day tournaments. They started playing practice rounds together just to get away from the young guys, so they can't give up their secrets and their trade shots that they know they're going to hit at certain spots. I think he doesn't talk on the green for putts, but I guarantee you, if he makes a big shot and he walks past your bag, he reminds you he's going to hit bombs on the next tee box.
Yes.
Like that commercial said.
I mean, talking shit is a part of the game. It's a part of the business. I mean, the great ones do it. I mean, Greg Small did it. Talk to people I played. One of the big shit talkers there was.
talk about the quality golf. Adam Schefter had out there. Of course, he was posting the, I think, Evan, you called it a hole-in-one. It was the hard stick that Brady had. He was 120, 140, 150 yards out, sticks it. And then they roll up the next tee box, and both Tiger and Phil put it within 10 yards of the cup right off the tee box. If you guys remember that, like, man, I was like, that was big time stuff there.
When Phil hit the green on the par 4.
Yeah, when he cut it over the trees.
Yeah, Phil stuck it in like 8 yards. Tiger stuck it in 9. I think even Peyton or Brady made the green in regulation. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, that's good shit. I mean, and then we got the Charlotte race tonight.
Are you going to watch that, Greg?
NASCAR's live. I mean, it's live sports. I'm not a huge NASCAR fan. I was a big Tony Stewart fan. I mean,
there you go. Home Depot.
How?
You ever been to a NASCAR event live?
Yes. No, I've never been. No.
Evan or Greg or Tim, have you ever been live?
No, I never have. I stupidly turned down the chance years back, mid 2000s, on a work deal where I could have gone to race. And from the place I was working, I turned it down stupidly.
I heard they're pretty fun.
What kind of face was that, McVicker?
No, it's like you turn your head up face, you know.
Do you have any NASCAR stuff?
It's good.
Is it as intense in person as I know that's the appeal. That's what they try to show on TV. How intense is it in person? Like
more intense.
Watching it happen.
I've been to Dover a couple of times. So my college roommates and I would go down, and it was one of those things where they knew more about NASCAR than I did. I just kind of followed on a Sunday because that's what was on television in your dorm. And so you go down.
You look like you know a lot about NASCAR.
I rooted for Dale Jr. The best part was when Jeff Gordon drove by, because you either love him or hate him. Mm-hmm. And they do like the starting lineups, and they put them in the back of the truck. And there's nothing like 75,000 people flicking you off, because that's what Jeff Gordon got when he drove by. Everybody used to flick him off. But then when they get going, yeah, it's pretty wild to watch 200 miles an hour and they're bumping and grinding against each other.
Do you think it's like the New York Yankees syndrome with him? It's just that he won so much that he was, and that was such an era of all those big names, big personalities in NASCAR.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that and Jimmy Johnson. I mean, people started hating Jimmy Johnson at the end after he started winning all those cups.
Yeah.
He's got like 8 championships. Something stupid.
I think doesn't he work for Joe Gibbs?
Yes. Yeah.
Who? Jimmy?
Yeah. What, E?
Evan, who's your favorite?
I'm a Martin Truex Jr. fan.
So Evan's a Dale Jr. guy.
And a Bubba Wallace fan.
Bubba Wallace, is that Rusty's son?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
Who's Bubba Wallace?
I have no idea. Oh, Bubba Wallace from Kannapolis, North Carolina.
I just like the first name.
I am Bubba Wallace. No,
I'm actually a big Cole Trickle fan myself.
The old Mellow Yellow 42.
Why don't you go out there and hit the pace car? You hit everything else in this track tonight.
I want you to go out there and hit the pace car. The pace car for what?
E, have you ever seen Days of Thunder?
On that track tonight?
Yeah, I think that's the one with Tom Cruise, right?
It's Top Gun on a racetrack is what it is.
Yep, Rubbin is racing.
Good shit.
Rubbin is racing.
Good shit. It's a beautiful.
I still like when he's
sunset in
coming around the
Charlotte tonight.
track and they're banging and grinding. He's got the fender all beat up, and he calls back into the pit, and they, what are you doing? He's like, I'm eating ice cream. They're sitting there eating ice cream in the pit.
Yes. Robert Duvall, great casting there. And E, you got to watch if anything for Tom Cruise's hair.
Does it look as good as mine does tonight? Shout out to Megan Small and all her
The
glory.
haircut.
She loves the podcast. So shout out to Megan Small for my haircut.
Well, you're so proud of it. I mean, you've been all
That's
over
like
it.
the 4th or 5th time he's posted that, hadn't he? He's taken a whole bunch of pictures and posted that.
About my hair.
All over your Snapchat. Big close ups of your new hairdo.
You're trying to see. There's too many. I'm not getting famous here. Just let's relax a little bit. You know, all the women are just dropping on my door to try and see me.
You're married, man.
Married? E, where you been? Stuck in that hole in Williamsport.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm just messing with you. All right, so let's get back. We try to make it a little different tonight. I thought video games. Chad, did you play video games much growing up?
All the time.
So
All
video
the time.
games.
I went from the Nintendo system to the Sega system to PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3. I've never graduated to PlayStation 4. Not a big Xbox guy.
You spoiled North End kids had it all, evidently.
No, I didn't have it all. I didn't have a Super Nintendo, and that's the only one you could get a college basketball game on. Remember Coach K college basketball back in the day?
We had Coach K
It was
college
fabulous.
basketball.
It was fabulous.
Yeah, you
That's
played
the one
UNLV,
with-
you never lost.
You had the Joe
That's
Smith,
right. Okay.
the
X-ray
Joe
hip.
Smith, Keith Booth, Maryland Terps on there.
See, look, we tied it right
Maryland
back into the
team.
Last Dance. Keith Booth.
But they had some white guy that shot a bunch of threes. He was all
Yeah, you know his name?
Sarunas Jessicavicius.
Jessicavicius.
That's right. Sarunas.
Back in
He
the
went
day,
back home.
nothing would light up more than
the
Cole
Ukrainian
Fieldhouse.
wonder.
Nothing would light up more than Cole Fieldhouse on an early 90s night when Sarunas got hot.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Remember the whole banner at the top of because Cole Fieldhouse had them old 3D bullshit stuff. And it would go X, 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 hip, hip, hooray. When he would dunk the ball, it was fast. I was walking around Cole Fieldhouse by myself, 5 years old. I knew my way around to everything. Loved it.
Greg Small's favorite moment of childhood. It's 1997, January or February 1990. Was it, or it might have been December 96, Greg?
What are you talking about?
The MCI Center was
the
then called
MCI Center.
The MCI Center. The first. This is the first
childhood memories here.
The first real basketball played in what is now was it the Verizon Center where the Wizards play?
Verizon Center, the phone.
Yeah, was then the MCI Center. The was it the B&T kickoff? Is that what it was?
It was the MCI Classic.
Yeah,
it's where they had like GW and Maryland playing.
Well, it was number 2 Kansas.
Number 2 Kansas.
Rafe LaFrance. And who was the other guy?
Pierce.
Yes, Paul Pierce, Kansas
Jayhawks.
Jacques
the
Vaughn.
guard's name?
Jacques Vaughn.
Yes.
Jacques Vaughn. Yes.
Yes.
And Sarunas and Obina got hot that night. And Greg had gotten tickets for what, like your fourth, Jesus.
I don't know what
your 9th birthday or something like
10th
birthday. We went down, ate dinner at the Hard Rock Cafe. One of the most embarrassing nights of Greg Small's life at the Hard Rock Cafe when he got pulled out in the chair and said Sang birthday.
They pulled the chair out from underneath of me, and I started screaming. I was probably cussing too at that point in time in my life. But they pulled the chair out from under me, took me to this big ass step chair in the middle of the place. Thousands of people. Happy birthday,
maybe
Greg
75.
Small. The legend
Maybe
was
75.
born that night. It still lives today. The most hated man in Washington County. I'm just kidding.
And you're wearing a Michigan shirt.
That's right. That's right. Go blue.
They suck.
We're looking forward to a big season.
Hey, well, no, how are you going to have a big season?
Suck D. Come on.
The Michigan president came out today and said that if there's no students on campus, Michigan's not playing football. How are you going to have a big season?
He must be a Democrat. Everybody's quiet.
Just
Hey,
go
keep rolling.
by what it said today.
Oh. Everybody's back. Okay, I'm just making sure everybody got quiet there for a minute. So
Okay, so
let's
while
go
we're
back
on
to
this
video.
topic real quick, before video games,
All right, here we
Greg,
go.
which one do you like better, Cole Fieldhouse or the Xfinity Center? I'm not a big Xfinity fan. Cole was
Not
it.
even close
We
for
did
me.
we did
It's
not
not
need
even
to
close
leave
for me.
Cole as Maryland. Did not need to leave it. Cameron Indoor's
All
not
they
going
had
anywhere.
to do was
Make it a little
all they
bit
had to
nicer on the
do was-
inside. Spruce it up.
all they had to do was shade
I'm a-
down. I mean, they didn't even have to do anything with the seats. All they had to do was renovate the bathrooms and the locker rooms. The
Yep, a
rest
little
of it
spit
was
shine.
fine.
Yeah,
was.
but
Yes.
the bathrooms was part of the appeal, though. I mean, the
Are you talking about the
troughs,
Troughs.
yeah, the troughs and everything else. It's like
Scared
It's
to
the
death
reason-
those 55-year-old drunk men looking at me while I take a
it's the only reason that people would ever go to South Hagerstown High football games back in the day was just to use
Yeah,
the troughs in the bathroom.
Yeah, we got rid of those. The
They're not there
ADA
anymore?
came in
Gone.
and moved those out. Yeah, they're gone.
Oh shit.
But I do remember as a kid going to South High games every once in a while with my dad and having to use those troughs and thinking like, what in the heck is going on with this? And then I saw him at Bird Stadium. I saw him at Cole Fieldhouse. I just thought it was like a Maryland thing, like something you did in public.
Yeah. The ones at Bird Stadium reek of adult beverages. So Greg, are you muted there? Let's keep rolling here. You want to talk about video
All right,
games? What's
I'm
up?
back. I'm back.
Okay.
What's your
Uh,
favorite
I
video
know-
game, Greg?
Okay, so during this whole quarantine thing, there's an app called Twitch. There's an app called Twitch, and
Right.
I mean, I wish we would have invented this shit because it's awesome. And our favorite bullshit character on there is Barstool Sports Big Cat and his coach Doug.
Oh yeah,
Have you all
like
seen
that
that?
guy.
Evan, do you know about Coach
Evan, you like
Doug's?
Coach Doug?
Oh yeah.
He
Tennessee
should have never
guy.
left Texas Tech. He should have never left Texas Tech.
So Evan, what have you actually physically watched one of the Twitch games with Coach Doug's on it?
I have.
What do you
That's awesome.
think of Coach Doug's?
I
And
think he's
other
great.
than the way he looks,
I think he's hilarious.
Greg, what do you think?
He's hilarious, but I think he sucks. I think I would kick his ass if we actually went up there right now. I don't know what he's playing on the PlayStation or the Xbox, but I'd kick his ass. He's terrible.
Is he live
And
right
I
now?
think he's I wish he would watch this. Presidente El Stool.
El Presidente
But
is the
no.
man.
I think it's
Dave
pretty cool,
Portnoy.
but
Dave's,
yes.
Dave's hilarious.
He's in Nantucket. They were partying last night on Nantucket until 5:30 in the morning. He had to tell him to shut up.
Do you see what speaking of what Dave Portnoy, do you see what he paid to hang out with Roger Goodell for a Monday night football game?
And he doesn't even like him.
He hates
That's
and he's
the
been
best
banned.
part. That's the best
He's
part.
been banned.
$250K, correct?
250,000, and he's been banned from every NFL game. Because of his actions, he can no longer go to an NFL game live, and he's hanging out in the commission's basement to watch a Monday night game. He said there was no value too high to get inside that dude's house just to watch a football game with him.
That's excellent.
Going to talk about. What do you think?
Greg,
So,
you and I
Tim, you're
discussed.
football coach. What do you think of old Coach Gus Duggerton's play calling?
Well, Barstool Big Cat is fun to watch. His comments, he's it's funny to watch. some people would say he looks like the Williamsport Wildcats running 4 or 5 plays over and over and over and over. I know that is a criticism.
That's,
But,
that's true. Terrible.
I think the coach Doug's
Defense was good though this year.
well, what I think is really cool though is the way that it's kind of transcended Twitch, which is, just a streaming app for kids that love Call of Duty, etc. I'm sure, we knew what Twitch was. I knew what Twitch was because of my 14-year-old son. That was why. But you have the point where you have everybody from Lane Kiffin to the University of Tennessee to Texas Tech football tweeting like, here we are in a quarantine situation. And, I don't know if this is the old Jeff Goldblum quote
This
from
got
Jurassic.
gear and everything.
Oh yeah, it's what cuts clothing or whatever. This whole thing about sports is going to find a way. It's all going to find a way, and it's just funny how you've got a bunch of 30, 40-year-old men playing a video game that is 6 or 7 years old. That unfortunately there's not new ones because of the NCAA piece with the money and the licensing. Watching this stuff online, and yet all of college football is picked up on it, and it's become this thing. Well, they break the record every single night they stream on Twitch, right? E, do you watch Twitch at all, E?
Like 56,000 people. The one.
I don't watch that much of it.
But for me, it's another example of sports connecting. Greg, we've joked about buying a PlayStation 3 and trying to find NCAA 14 on eBay or Amazon somewhere. And if we choose to do that, I'd be sleeping in the basement. How much money it costs? Did you buy it, Chad, or did you?
It's from 2014. That's how old it is.
We're lagging.
Yeah.
And it is the best. You can change the uniforms. It's great.
Oh yeah, back when Maryland went through that whole thing where they were changing uniforms like at halftime every game, wearing different shoes and stuff. All their stuff's in there.
Speaking of Maryland changing their uniforms, I was at the game where they first wore black, where they warmed out with red tops, white pants, and they go back in and come out in black helmets, black tops, black pants. That was pretty cool. That was Virginia homecoming game.
Black and black from the side.
And then I was at the game where they played Miami in the Maryland Pride uniforms. They warmed up in like red uniforms, white pants, and they came out. I still get goosebumps. That was pretty electric when they came out. I was like, oh man. And LeBron James tweeted they're the ugliest uniforms he's ever seen in his life. I guess he didn't look at the Cavs black uniforms at the time. Little T-shirts on.
Under Armour was really pushing there. I think when Maryland discontinued their success, when they were no longer winning, they kind of fell off of it. But they were going to use Maryland, like Oregon, to push Under Armour and to push those options and stuff.
Speaking of what, I think they're going to be better now with Loxley.
Well, you think Coach Locks in year 2 is going to get it going?
Yep, I do.
He better start recruiting the state of Maryland.
I think I'm
like. Well, he went out. He got two of his brother.
He got to his brother.
He's next there. I'm not sure. So he's got the quarterback of the future now.
You think that kid's going to be all right?
We'll see what Locks.
Well, Loxley was really good when he beat St. John's Catholic Prep and he beat DeMatha. And then all of a sudden they had to play a real football team and got their backside handed to them. Penn State came in there and used them as a mop and wiped them all over the floor on a Friday night instead of in front of 69,000 people. I thought if you were at that game, you would have thought you were back at Happy Valley in like the third quarter.
Yeah.
Did you guys go down to – oh, my goodness, yeah. He should have been the head coach at Maryland. They screwed that up.
Well, he was. Debbie Yao had
waiting.
Yes.
Yep. And then all of a sudden that dude came in and yoked Friedgen out after a 10-win season in big-time football. You win 10 games and you get fired. Get the heck out of here.
Well, there's nobody that holds Big Ralph in more regard than probably myself or my brother. And, I'm
a huge Fridge fan.
One of my favorite possessions is my wife got me for Christmas one year his autobiography that Keith Cavanaugh, the old Terrapin Times, wrote, and it's Ralph Ralph autographed it, on the cover. It's one of my favorite possessions
My
down in
way.
the basement with my stuff. My way. And
That's
My dad has that.
It's a good
they
book,
won.
E.
They won that ninth game or whatever. The AD goes in and tells Fridge and those guys that they've done the job, that they've got a job the next day. And I remember we're all just dumb sports guys. I remember where I was when it came across ESPN that Fridge was gone and Randy Edsel was our new coach. Like,
Yep.
I wanted to throw myself off the Route 11 bridge.
Do you remember they won the Military Bowl at RFK Stadium and they carried him off the field?
Yes.
They carried him off the field. Remember, did you guys go to games back when he was coaching?
Yeah, well, it's right around the time that he took the job in Maryland, got the job, was when I had stopped playing. So I was still a student I didn't play all 4 years at Frostburg. So it was my last 2 years there. I would come home on the weekends and we would hop in the car and drive to Bird on Saturday home games. And it was that first year that Ralph had the team. And that was
Sean Hill.
Yeah, Sean Hill.
That
who
was
was
the
a
Orange Bowl
receiver?
team.
Julian Gary.
Gary. Yep.
You had Bruce Perry, who Ron Vanderlinden had redshirted the year before because he played as a freshman. And we were there. We were in Bird that first game against UNC where Perry went off for almost 200 yards, and we won a real.
Bay.
Well, Hey Bay came a little bit later, but we were there when it was a statement of we're back. We're back. Greg, did you go to that game with us, with Dad and I? He's lagging. Chad, were you guys there? Were you there?
Yeah, my grandfather had season tickets.
I believe.
He got season tickets around the same time my mom was graduating and had him up to the time that he passed away. So I was at a ton of games. Remember the Terrapin Walk where the bus would drop off the guys and the band would come playing and you could go high five all the guys on the way into the stadium?
Yeah, Ralph
started
led
the way.
Yeah, Ralph started that.
You going to do a Wildcat Walk like that?
Well, we actually, my second year, we put in, I know you don't get a chance to come to a home game because South's usually home and you're up in the PA, the voice of South Hagerstown High School with Chad Shears. We have where the kids come out the locker room, and we do have a walkway that comes in the middle of the stadium. They come down through the crowd and enter in the stadium that way, which is new tradition that
Wait, Chad,
administration,
you're
Emily
the voice
Crabtree.
of the Rebels?
I am the voice of the Rebels for every sport other than basketball.
Yeah.
Big E even got to participate in the Wildcat Walk a couple times, I think. So,
hey, if I remember right, didn't you meet Daryl Green on the sideline, Evan? Wasn't that you?
Yes, I did.
I remember seeing that on television. That's pretty cool.
That was Evan McVicker night. That was awesome. I wish I would have gone. I wasn't there.
Yeah, it was one of the favorite nights of my life, except for the fact we didn't win the ball game that night. And Evan loved it because nobody blamed him. It certainly wasn't his fault.
Evan, so what?
If my
Evan,
point
tell us your
counted,
favorite.
we would've
Tell
won.
us how it went.
If my point would have counted, we would have won.
You're right. You're right. I had to talk to the official association about that.
But Nikki, terrible.
Bob
You're
usually
terrible,
watches.
Bud
I don't know if
Nicky.
he's
I
watching
know,
tonight
that's
or
right.
not. Bob usually watches.
Bob, you're
Bud
terrible.
Bud sits up in the booth during South games. Him and I we have really good conversations. And about 3 months later, he's calling one of my games on a Thursday night in South's gym.
He does the clock a lot there.
Well,
he
he
gives
does
the
the
most-
clock, and sometimes
he
he's
gives the most
observed.
technical fouls in the basketball.
That's not true. You give more than him.
Ugh.
No, Greg doesn't call anything because
I
he
do
wants
not.
to get over
The only
the
people I seem to tee up are South High people.
Well, rumor
Hey,
has it is
it's all
that Greg
about money.
Small. Rumor has it is that Greg Small was not allowed back in Williamsport High School's gym this winter. Was there any truth to that
is
rumor?
true.
E, did you hear that?
I believe I did, yeah.
What, you swallow your whistle? Did Grable
Something
kick
about a
you out?
block. Something about a block charge call. I don't know.
There was one night who even Emily, God love her, came up to me and she says, "You got to do something about it. He's lost it. He doesn't know what he's doing tonight." And then I think you got crossed off the rest of the year, big guy.
You know what? They moved me. I had 4 more games there. I don't understand why. I was very hurt by that.
Well, It seems like we get what's his name all the time, McKendrick.
Yeah, Todd. That was the last game I ever worked at Williamsport High School was with him.
Todd.
He seems to do a lot of white hat games for me with football. He's
Yeah.
a lot like when I
Yeah.
announce, I have to like figure out what his hand signals are because he gives different hand signals to the press box than anybody else in Washington County.
Well, I love Todd because
Todd's
he'll get
a great guy.
Yeah, he'll get ready to make a call against you, and he'll look over and wink at you and make the call, and then just look back at you and smile. I know, I love him. He's it's always a hoot when he's there on a Friday night.
I don't know if he's a fan or not. I know he's been invited to watch Life on Deck, but I don't know if he has watched it. He should. We should get him on. We should have an officials only Life on Deck podcast one episode. Officials episode.
Are you going to
Donnie
text Donnie
Souders.
and ask him to come over? Donnie, come on.
Yeah.
The real question is, when are you going to start working varsity games so I can bust your chops?
I was going to start working 3-man this summer, and then it didn't happen. I don't know.
What are you going to blame? COVID?
Now that we do these podcasts, I won't be able to work your games. All the people in Carroll and Frederick County, since this is so big, would know. They would be like, "Oh, wait, he's cheating." Go.
Well, the fact that we got E on tonight, I haven't looked at the numbers. We probably doubled or tripled tonight. E, did you shout this out today? You were coming on?
No.
I know you said you were upset that you didn't make the header. You didn't make with special guest Evan McVicker.
You know who makes those, E? It's not me, and it's not Chad.
I know.
Oh, I already heard it. I already heard it today. I already heard it. So E, use this. The cool thing about The Last Dance coming on is not coming on this week, so we don't have to stop at 9. E, use this as a chance. Plug your business a little bit. What stuff you got upcoming in the mega sports collecting business going on? What you got coming up?
Well, I don't know. I think I have some stuff coming in, sales and stuff.
What, jerseys? What are you doing? Jerseys, autograph stuff, cards, what?
Whatever comes in, I sell.
So E, we got you on the sports card business. Chad and I are about the same age. Greg is a couple years younger than us. Growing up in the early 90s, it was huge. Obviously, there wasn't the internet and all these different media outlets and stuff for sports. So we did baseball cards. We did football. We did whatever was in season we were doing. I've got box sets of 89 Skybox basketball. I've got the 90 NFL Pro Series set in the basement. We've got the 90, 91 Upper Decks. Those first couple years they come out. What tell us about why you got into it, what you enjoy about it. I imagine you've been doing it since you were younger, I'm sure.
I like being able to sell stuff.
Why can't I hear anything?
I like being able to sell and getting money and selling it as selling for like a second job, I guess.
So you straight get off on you get the high when you're trading.
Yeah.
E cuts a big deal and boom, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Not gotcha, but that's what you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Chad, were you guys big with sports cards growing up, you and Kevin and your dad and all?
Yeah, we were. Matter of fact, we were going through some this weekend that my mom had found different Jordan ones and stuff like that. So
Nice.
They weren't rookie, but they were pretty close. But it was pretty cool. Yeah, but I collected that stuff. I wanted a Cal Ripken signed card more than anything because he was kind of like the baseball hero of the state of Maryland back in the day.
Yeah, there was I think it was 92.
Who was?
Greg,
Ripken.
let's see if you remember this. On the 92 Don Russ, when they used to do those, they would have the painting of the guy and it would be actually autographed by some of them in certain packs. And there's my family, if you didn't know.
Here we go. They're back from ice cream. Must be a Sunday ritual over there.
But anyway, do you remember Cal Ripken Jr. when Donnie Barton hit Cal Ripken Jr.'s card? Do you remember that growing up?
No.
Oops.
I don't know much about the baseball card business.
Well, you need to get on that.
So E,
I know.
if if I were to start or my son were to start, like where do you get hooked up with your distributorships, or are you just straight trading with people all over the place? Like how does it work nowadays with the online piece?
I just straight trade and all. Now that people are in the house all day, all the box prices and stuff are going up and stuff.
Well, that's good for you, right?
Well, I don't have any boxes, so I can't buy anything because they're too expensive.
So Evan, is it a thing where you do like Facebook Marketplace or something like that, or are you using other sources to trade off of?
I do everything, eBay, stuff like that.
Who?
Greg lost connection. Greg, you there?
Yeah. Hello?
You on your phone? Or are you trying to do this from your laptop today?
I'm on my
Oh,
phone.
somebody's hitting fireworks in the neighborhood.
Here we go. They're celebrating us reaching 10 viewers. I heard we had an all-time high tonight, 12.
No, it was a little bit higher than that.
Oh,
so E, what would be your advice to somebody who want to get started?
Whatever you have to sell, just look up eBay, what they sold on eBay, and go for it.
So what's the highest paid card out there right now?
Probably
what, Babe Ruth or something?
Mike Trout.
Are you talking about current cards, Evan, or are you talking about like ever?
Mike Trout's current rookie card, probably, right?
I mean,
like
Honest Wagner's cards, the Honest Wagner like baseball cards worth like $5 million.
Yeah, that one.
That was in your era, Chad, wasn't it?
I mean, it was pretty close. Well, the back of a cigarette box.
Yes. Marlboros before the Marlboro man.
Well, they used to be on the back of cigarettes box before they were put in like
it was the mini one,
bubble gum.
Yeah,
was
you're
like
talking like 1920s stuff.
Yeah,
that's when cigarettes were cool.
Oh Jesus!
So, it was pretty cool. I was mowing grass at St. Maria Goretti, Chad's alma mater, the other day, and Coach Greg Ebersole put that nice little tribute out there. I don't know if you saw that on Facebook or not, but one of the senior players must have came over while I was there mowing and kind of relived his senior year. That was kind of, it was one of those moments. You're like, oh shit, these seniors graduate. I feel bad for them.
I mean,
but Coach Ebersole did a cool thing for those guys.
Yeah, Greg does a good job. I mean, obviously, he's been at Goretti, my alma mater, and at South High, where I'm currently at. So, Greg and I, we talk as much as we can. He did.
Although Jordan rookies and Scottie Pippen rookies are selling pretty high too right now.
Yeah, they
The
are.
Last Dance, the highest paid documentary in ESPN's history.
Did you see how many fans or viewers or whatever you want to call it averaged each Sunday night? Did y'all catch that?
It was upwards 5 or 6 million every episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 5. They averaged a 5.3 an episode. Like that's pretty crazy on a Sunday night.
Well,
for 2 hours.
And for ESPN too. It's crazy.
And at 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
Oh,
right. It's not like at 7 o'clock.
I mean, that's like on Deck's view. Last week we hit over 600 people. Who are these people and where are they coming from? If you are a fan, please speak out, like our page, share our page. Let's make this worldwide, folks.
But seriously though, we reached 1,000 people, had almost 700 views, and I know that wasn't all live, but so we're gonna try to have some different things going on to crank out some good content, good conversations over the coming weeks.
We got any questions sitting on the Facebook questionnaire place today? Anything, buddy, talking about anything on there they want us to chat about?
I don't think so. No. Not tonight. It may be a low key night because of everybody celebrating holiday, celebrating those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom.
Greg, you sounded like a
Chad,
preacher.
you want to take a moment? Chad, you and I want to take a moment and talk about the T-shirts in Micah's backpack. I know it's something we've been sitting on for a couple of days, and
Absolutely.
our buddies at BSN have been great with us, partnering with this idea. Something something we want to try to kick off. Probably a good way to do it tonight.
Absolutely. So Mark Dietrich, who is our BSN rep at school, and I think he's your BSN rep as well at Wadesworth, if I'm not mistaken. We've been in contact, and we're going to push these shirts. Mine are going to say Rebel Strong. You're going to say Wildcat Strong. We're trying to raise money for Micah's backpack, which is really an awesome organization. It helps raise food for the youth in Washington County who do not have food at home. They get a backpack they go home with on the weekend. They have food. My mom has really been a big person in charge of that in Washington County since she retired from teaching at St. Margrethe in 2010. So to me, it kind of hits home a little bit, but I think it's one of those things where we're able to help youth in Hagerstown, and that's awesome.
Whatever we can do.
And
Yeah,
on our
we've
webpage,
been,
we're gonna push it. We're gonna push the stuff on the webpage here,
Yep.
on podcast page there on Facebook.
Well, there about a week ago when we first started talking about the idea with Mark, and between the three of us talking, my wife and I and our family's been attending church services at Hub City Vineyard here over the last year. And I know one of the things that they do in the fall before the start of school is one of their biggest fundraisers is a huge piece out to Micah's backpack and making donations and different things that are pushing out that way. So when you brought up the idea that was something your mom always supported, that was something we definitely wanted to get behind. And so we're excited to do that, and looking forward to having some fun with it. So we'll start pushing some info out about that here, probably, if not tonight, probably starting tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And I know Mark
Excited
extended the
that.
date to what, June 4th? He extended it for us, I think, to June 4th, something like that. We'll have a little competition, see who can raise the most shirts sold and all that stuff. But all the proceeds are going to go to Micah's backpack so we can help them out.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right back, fellas. Keep going. I gotta check out for just 2 seconds.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. Like I said, ours are going to say Rebel Strong. You're going to say Wildcat Strong. I think we're all in this together. It's been kind of a tough situation for everybody at this point, and we just got to kind of come together a little bit and see how much we can, raise for those guys. I mean, Evan, you would look really good in a Rebel Strong shirt, my man.
No. Ooh.
Evan bleeds the blue.
We got Tank over.
Oh,
yeah,
Tank.
you guys got Tank. Is he going to get like his shirt divided down the middle, Rebel, Cat Strong or something,
We're gonna try. I mean, I've thrown some ideas out to him over the next couple weeks to try and expand the podcast, trying to meet some more people.
Cowboy and Wildcat on it. He's gonna
This is our first adventure.
I think it's important. I mean, I think we got to grow a little bit. We're doing a good job, I think, locally, just kind of hitting some things, having viewers that enjoy their Sunday evenings, but we can get out there a little bit and have some fun with it.
So when we find NCAA college basketball on Super Nintendo or Coach K basketball from 1997 for Sega Genesis, what is your name going to be?
You talking to Evan or you talking to me? What team am I going to play with?
Big Cat, Little Cat, Bobcat, Sim Cat.
El Presidente.
Like we're gonna go through the season, through the trenches, always hook 'em horns.
I'm gonna go Dave Portnoy, Team Portnoy.
Who's that? Oh, that's your name.
El Presidente.
Are you gonna rename the players?
Oh no, I'm just gonna play with the '92 UNLV team and just beat everybody. Stacey Augman, LJ.
Come on, man.
Grandmama.
That's probably the best, one of the best college teams.
Yes, E. Yes, Grandmama. How do you remember that?
I don't know. I heard it on,
if I'm not mistaken, didn't he wear Converse? Wasn't like
Yes.
Larry Johnson the last person to wear Converse? That was a big deal back in the day.
Yes, he was the one.
Am I
He
the
was the
only
one that
one
tried
in
to bring it back.
America whose feet are too fat for those? They kill my big toe. Or else I'd wear them. I mean, because a guy like me, I could rep those shits.
The Larry Johnson Converse were too big for you? Or too
Yes.
small for you?
Yes.
Wasn't he 7 foot?
They need to make them in a wide.
Wasn't he 7 foot?
Larry Johnson wasn't 7 foot. Come on, he's about
Okay.
6'8", power forward. Number
Larry
2.
Johnson was a 2-time JUCO basketball All-American from Odessa, Texas.
Did they play HCC in the championship game?
No, they went to Hutchinson, though. I think he actually won a national title. I think he won a national title in Juke and a national title in
Odessa's
Yes,
where Friday
NCAA.
Night was.
Yes.
There you go.
FNL, the greatest. You know what? If you are bored out there, you're bored and you've watched the Outer Banks, you need to watch the Friday Night Lights seasons because it's phenomenal television.
Yeah,
Coach
but the
John
Friday
Taylor.
night seasons aren't nearly as good as the movie at Odessa Permian.
Oh, they're way better. I know. You're exactly right.
How are they way better? You're talking
The
about
movie.
real life TV.
The
Mojo?
movie's better, man.
Oh,
Chad, have you ever read the book? The book's the best. I read the book when I was in high school, but the book is. I remember I read the book. I read the book in the mid '90s. The movie came out in the mid 2000s, and then so did the series. So
I want to say I was still in college, like 2004-ish. That came out, something like
Movie.
that.
yes,
and the movie doesn't even remember the Titans is the best football movie ever.
You know how fake that movie is, though.
I don't care. Phenomenal.
It's a great Disney flick. I was fortunate enough I got to recruit Northern Virginia for Shenandoah. So I used to go to T.C. Williams High School and do some recruiting. And there's a wall in there that like talks about the movie, but they waxed everybody. There was no drama in that season. And the kid that Bobby, who was the really good linebacker that like got hurt in the accident in the movie?
Gary Bertier.
Bertier. There you go. So he
Bertier.
actually wasn't in an accident. Like that was Hollywood. He was in an accident after he graduated. Like the summer after he graduated he was in his real accident.
Yeah.
So they took stuff and put it together. But I mean, yeah, you're right. I do like that one.
I know. Ain't no valley low. No.
Well, Denzel played a good part in that movie.
He did.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, did he just pass away, or did
What?
one of them passed away in the last 6
coaches.
months?
The coaches.
It was
the coaches.
either
The coach did. Yeah, the coach.
Herman Boone.
Herman
Boone.
Boone passed away, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And
68.
all those guys went to the funeral. Like the ones from the movie went to the funeral, including Denzel Washington. How cool is that?
It's
Yeah.
pretty.
I got to meet both. I got to meet both Coach Herman Boone and the other coach. They were on like the motivational speaking circuit. Bill Yost. They came to Frostburg one winter evening, and I guess they got paid probably $1,000 or something by the university to come and speak to students. It was like a random Tuesday night. Went and met them, and it was pretty cool. You know, it was one of those experiences. Like at the time, you're like, here's these guys. But then that movie has definitely stood the test of time. It's definitely one of the best, as Greg said, for sure.
Well, attitude reflects leadership, right? Isn't that what he says?
Yes, sir.
After practice up at Gettysburg?
Yeah, your attitude stinks. Attitude reflects leadership, sir.
And we are still fighting that same battle today.
That's the human condition, man. It's a human condition.
Let me ask you this then, Tim and Greg, since you guys coach football, how would you guys like to be able to go to like a Frostburg or a Gettysburg in preseason and take your dudes up there for like 2 weeks, a week or something like that and do a little preseason?
It would be
Terrible.
because no, shut up, Greg. It would be exceptional because again,
Greg,
it's
Tim, you think any guy would listen up there to you?
Who, me or Tim?
Tim.
They don't listen to Tim either. It's all right.
Not you. You're never at practice.
Oh, I'm never there when you're there.
Sure.
no, it'd be exceptional because it's about building connection. and you have the
Absolutely.
opportunity around the clock to build connection and to build, yes, you would get in all of your conditioning and all of your whatever your work, but that'd be a great opportunity to, what's he do? Herman
Build
Boone
a
does the
team.
old, you need to eat lunch with somebody different every single night. You need to learn something, whether you love your teammates or whatever, you're going to respect them and those kinds of things. So
Absolutely.
the movie in its own little way does a pretty good job of that. I mean, that would be phenomenal. I wish we had that opportunity.
Did
Yeah,
you guys
sure.
follow Two-A-Days on MTV? Hoover High School, Rush Probst. Did y'all
Back in
follow
the
that by
day,
chance at all?
yes.
Alabama,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Alabama. Yep. So okay, so two
the coach
things
who was
I'll
living
tie-
2
I'll-
lives.
Yes, and I'll tie this in a little bit that you guys will appreciate this. So I'll tie it into The Last Dance because the Hoover Met is where the Birmingham Barons played their games.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So that's small world, right? So they played their football games in the same baseball stadium that Jordan played in when he was down in Alabama, and but they used to go away. Like if you watch their like MTV like DVDs and stuff, they used to go away for 2 weeks and have a preseason workout with their team. And Rush was kind of nuts. I mean, in a lot of facets in life, but the one part, like the mom's coming out and she's like, well, he has a doctor's note. And he's like, I require 2 doctor's notes. My players don't miss practice. This is a national program. He made 6 figures just coaching football in high school.
Yeah, it's some of those parts of the country. It's a different world.
And then he went to Colquitt down in Georgia and he made like 135 just to coach football.
Crazy.
I mean, I know that, Coach Crabtree's got you set up over there in Williamsport. He probably can't pull you away from stuff like
that.
You couldn't imagine how much money he makes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Trust me, I have an idea. I know what my check looks like at the end of the school year.
Yeah, the cheerleading advisor, and there are other people in the other people in WCPS that make more. So it ain't about the money for sure.
For every win.
Yes.
They should just be thankful they're still getting paid, right, Tim?
What's that?
We should just be thankful we're still getting paid.
Yes, absolutely. You've been getting paid this whole time.
You're right.
It's still one of the best jobs.
I'm thankful for the COVID-19.
You ready to clean Lincolnshire up there, Greg?
I had started working out. I'm getting back in shape. I can't wait to open up that first locker on June 8th at 8 a.m.
Are you a teacher, Greg?
I'm a teacher of all things, Evan. Teacher of life, lessons.
He's a swami. He's a swami, Evan.
I am a modern day version of the swam.
No one can be like Chris Berman.
All right, guys. Well, I mean, tonight's been fun. Tonight's been good. It's
y'all watching Lance
here.
You're gonna watch the Dope King, Lance Armstrong, on television tonight.
Oh, is that tonight?
The Lance is the next couple of weeks.
I'll check it out. I'm not
doping. He admits to it.
Check it out. I'm one of those people that was a big fan of his, and I thought he had numerous opportunities along the way to speak out or whatever.
And evidently he admits it in this episode, or not in this episode, but in this
thing. Kept up the show.
You see it in the commercials.
He had numerous opportunities to stop, and he didn't.
The Netflix.
So I'm sure he has his side of the story.
Thing about it was great.
Yeah. He said that though, I know we got to go, but he said on the one thing, he said everybody was low octane doping back then.
Yeah, I agree.
And
so
he got in the
steroid era.
And then all of a sudden there was the high octane stuff. And I guess like one year he became like the world's best cyclist or whatever, and he had to wear this thing called a rainbow jersey. And he was wearing the rainbow jersey, he was getting his butt kicked. And once he got that, it was like, man, I'm gonna have one thing or I'm gonna fail. And he just decided one night while he was over there, it was time to go high octane, and he did ever since.
Hey, Evan, Martin Truex is in the lead.
Hey.
All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. We're gonna try and amp it up again next week. try and get some more visitors on, see what happened. But it's been fun tonight.
Hey,
Thanks for
Tim,
having
you and I'll start pushing the shirts.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll keep going, keep it going, and
E, you're welcome
let's-
anytime.
Yep.
Hey, E, what size shirt you wear?
double X.
I'll make sure you get a Rebel Strong shirt then.
Oh God,
Hey, you know what you can use it for, right?
I'll burn it live.
That's awesome. You're gonna do it.
All right, fellas. See you guys.
All right,
Yeah.
gentlemen. Have a good night. See ya.
See you.